Hello and welcome back to Cooking by Zoe. Today's tutorial is on how to make these very cute big sushi cups. They are perfect for appetizer and serving at any gathering. I tend to prefer these big sushi cups over a tray of baked sushi, so there's just less people digging at the tray of goods. So let's get started with all the preparation. These are the proteins that I'll be using today: shrimp, imitation crab, and salmon. You can use any protein that you prefer. For the salmon, lightly salted with a pinch of salt, and then I'm cooking mine in the air fryer at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 8 to 10 minutes. You can pan fry if you prefer. For the imitation crab, it is already pre-cooked, so go ahead and just peel them into strips and then chop it into 1/2 inches. Dice the shrimp into bite-sized pieces, and then we are going to stir fry them. Heat a pan and add in 2 teaspoons of oil. We're going to add in our shrimp and we're going to cook these. Stir fry the shrimp until it is halfway cooked, and then we're going to add in oyster sauce and Sriracha sauce, and then cook it for an additional 30 seconds to 45 seconds until fully cooked. Turn off the heat and then set it aside to cool, and we'll use this later. The salmon is now cooked. Go ahead and let this cool. In the meantime, let's go and add some mayonnaise and sriracha to our imitation crab to give it some flavor. The total amount of mayonnaise and sriracha sauce that I'm using is listed here. In the video, I did 2 separate batches, so I split the 1/3 cup and the 1 tablespoon in halves because I was mixing in a small bowl. For the salmon, we will not need the skin, so go ahead and remove the meat part of the fish and just toss away the skin, or you can eat that if you want. And then using a fork, I'm just going to break off the meat, or you can chop it as well. I'm going to season the salmon with 1/2 teaspoon of Sriracha sauce. Go ahead and mix this thoroughly. We are now all ready with our proteins, so we'll go ahead and make our rice next. For the rice, I'm using medium grain rice, and make sure they are freshly steamed or cooked. I'm adding in rice vinegar and a pinch of salt. Mix these well and then transfer them into a smaller bowl so we can proceed with the next step. For this next step, we are going to assemble our big sushi cups. I am showing all the ingredients that I will be using in order to assemble these big sushi cups. I have already lined my tray with baking cups. This recipe makes about 2.5 to 3 dozens. To assemble, follow the instructions that I'm showing here in the video. To the baking cups, I am going to assemble 1 piece of seaweed to each one. For the rice, I'm using a spoon. You can also do this by hand. You want a little less than 1/4 cup of rice, and just mold it so it's almost kind of similar to kind of a football shape, but it doesn't really matter, just as long as it's on top of the seaweed and shaped well. And so I'm doing this by hand. You can also do it by hand. And then after this, we're going to add in our Furikake just right on top of the rice. And then after this, I'm going to press the rice and the Furikake down with my finger just to kind of flatten the area so I can add the toppings. So for the toppings, I'm going to first start with adding in the imitation crabs. And then after that, I will go ahead and add in the salmon. Next, add in the shrimp. Next, I'm going to add in avocados to some of these cups. And then I'm going to add in mayonnaise. Just drizzle some mayonnaise on top, and then drizzle some Sriracha on top, and then drizzle some Unagi sauce on top. Now I'm going to add a little bit more Furikake just right to the top of these. And then I'm going to add in Massago, a little pinch to each of these cups. This is pretty much everything that I'm adding to my sushi cups. Now preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and bake these cups for about 5 to 8 minutes. Here's the outcome of my baked sushi cups. They are just absolutely cute to serve as an appetizer and as finger foods. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful. I do want to point out that baking these sushi cups are optional. You can actually serve as is, and if you're going to be using raw meats for the protein, then you actually don't need to bake your sushi cups. I tend to like to bake my sushi cups or sushi bakes only so the unagi sauce can be melted a little. Well, again, I hope you found this tutorial helpful and you'll give this recipe a try. If you do, let me know how it turns out. Thank you. Bye.